Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Did they ask you for a 15-minute presentation?
Yeah, she said 10 to 15 minutes of presentations.
Okay.
Sharing my screen.
Start whenever you like.
I'm using Rai for okay.
Okay.
Okay, so my thesis title is A Study of Advanced Visualization Literacy. And yeah, these are the published papers. I don't know why they're in this order. Okay. So these are the papers that I published during my PhD, and some of them are collaborations, some of them are my papers with other authors. And these are the papers which are under review at the moment, and we get minor revision for one of the paper and hoping to publish it soon. And our contribution there are 4 course studies in my thesis. In chapter 2, I'm going to talk about a survey of interactive visualization literacy studies. In chapter 3, there's a study on tree-map literacy. In chapter 4, parallel coordinates plot literacy study, and at the end, in chapter 5, I'm going to talk about dense parallel literacy study, and these are the core studies in my thesis. These are the contribution that you can find in my thesis. So I would like to begin with the definition of data visualization and visualization literacy. Data visualization is a graphical representation of the data that assists in identifying the patterns, trends, and outliers in behavior and reveal new perspectives. So basically, the way of representing data to help exploring and understanding data easier using visual designs. This is the key for the data visualization. And for visualization literacy, it's defined as the ability to read, interpret, understand the information presented in a graphical design. And sometimes we can even include a construction of the design as a part of visualization literacy. So yeah, this is 2 definitions of key elements in the thesis. I would like to continue with our survey paper, Interactive Visualization Literacy. So we survey, this is the first survey of its kind, and we survey 34 papers, and we introduce a classification of visualization literacy evaluation methods. And we also apply our classification to those papers and as extracted more valuable other metadata. And also we discuss at the end the common future directions in the survey. This is our main classification table. And on the y-axis, we show literature and the papers. And on the x-axis, we show the classification method presented in the paper. So we have basically four main classification methods, and there are also literature review, including that we have 5 classification methods. And also we have some target participants, and we also evaluate the target participants mentioned in the studies, and of course the number of participants included in the user studies as well. So we provide a summary of all of them in one table, and we also structure our paper based on this classification categories that we introduce in this table. And I can talk about more on our chapter 3, tree-map literacy, which is we conducted a user study in classroom-based. So why we want to study tree-map? Because it's widely used visualization method for hierarchical data, and it's also challenging for understanding because it's one of the advanced tools. That's why it's extremely challenging for users to understand the data itself and the design. So that's why we would like to focus on this. And also, there's no previous in-depth studies in the literature. That's why this is another reason why we wanted to work on tree maps. And our contributions are we identify the barriers to tree map literacy. We had 5 hypotheses on what are those barriers to tree map literacy. And we also introduced a tree map visualization literacy test and a classroom-based user study. And we also develop a novel pedagogical application to improve users' visualization literacy, tree map visualization literacy skills. And if you don't mind, I would like to show a demo video of our software that will help us to see the interaction and animation presented in the tool. And we use this tool for our user study. We gave this tool to our students, and they basically we tested the effectiveness of the tool in a classroom experiment. Okay, so this is the overall view. So we introduced a tree structure on the left-hand side of the screen, and we introduced a tree map on the right-hand side. And these two views are showing, they're working simultaneously, basically. And this tool shows a health data set which is weekly recorded in US for 125 years. And of course, like the tree, when we open a level on, when we show one level on the tree view, this will also be shown as accordingly on the tree map view. So let's go back to the view, and I will quickly show the video, and then we will go for the next chapter. I just muted the video. I'm explaining in the background the same thing that I explain. Maybe I can move a little bit. Yeah. So there's internal nodes, and these are working simultaneously. And there's another internal node shown on the tree structure. And when we highlight one of the nodes, the corresponding node on the tree map is also highlighted. And this is the leaf, another nodes shown on the tree structure. And there's also different diseases. The tree map only shows one disease. And we also can update the color scale. Yeah, this is just a quick overview for the data, for the software. And this is our next chapter, chapter 4, PLIGHT, a study of parallel coordinates plot literacy. So why we would like to work on parallel coordinates plot? Because it's widely used for demonstrating multidimensional data. It's like same as tree maps. This is also challenging visualization tool, challenging to understand. I'm sorry. It's very challenging to understand the data and the parallel coordinates. That's why we chose this visual design. And also there is no previous in-depth studies on parallel coordinates visualization literacy. And in that chapter, we identify barriers to parallel coordinates literacy, and we develop a novel educational tool and also tutorial videos. And we also developed a novel parallel coordinate literacy test and conducted a user study using Amazon Mechanical Turk. We also have another software demo video for our for the tool, so I can show this one as well. in that tool, we also have a similar approach. We would like to start with something that everyone knows, which is the Cartesian coordinates. And we show this Cartesian coordinates, and we would like to show the correspondence between Cartesian coordinates and parallel coordinates. So on the Cartesian coordinates, user can draw a point, and then this point will also be shown on a parallel coordinates. Now on the Cartesian coordinates, there are two dimensions, x and y, and we show the point on the parallel coordinates as a two variable x and y, and we can continue showing that. We can resize this point, and of course this will add another dimension on the parallel coordinates, another variable which is size. We can change the color, which is another variable for the point, and we can also move and see the changes on the parallel coordinates. And the last one, we can change the shape of the point, and this is another variable on the parallel coordinates, and the aim is just basically explain how a parallel coordinates work by increasing the number of variables and showing them simultaneously on the parallel coordinates and Cartesian coordinates. And there are other functionalities in the tool that will help user to understand the concept much better. Okay, so I think that should be enough for this tool. That's good. I need to go back. So our last main chapter is on dense parallel coordinates, techniques for dense parallel coordinates plot. So why we would like to work on dense parallel coordinates plot? Because it's like, as we know that it's difficult to interpret large data set due to overplotting. And also it's difficult to understand the relationships between data dimensions. We thought that this is the part of visualization literacy, because when it's difficult to interpret and understand the data, the trends and patterns in the data, we should kind of facilitate and help user to understand the concept of parallel coordinates much better. So that's why we introduce interactive correlation glyphs for adjacent axis pairs. And we also introduced novel dynamic lenses to support data analysis. And we introduced a subtraction operator to indicate differences between two data sets. And we also introduced dimensionality reduction based on collapsing axis pairs. And at the end, we collected feedback from a domain expert for 3 use cases. We also have a software demo for our parallel coordinates tool that will show us the functionality, all the features that we introduced in this chapter. So I would like to begin with the overview look. So we have a menu on the left-hand side. There are different age groups, and we have correlation glyphs at the bottom of the page to show the correlation between each axis pairs. And we have a dynamic glyph lens to show a summary of the data in that specific area. So the user can hover around and see the different part of the data in terms of positive and in terms of edges, which is positive and which is sloped positively and negatively in the area. And we also reduced the dimensionality based on correlation glyphs that was placed at each axis pairs. And we also have a color scale at the left-hand side of the parallel coordinates. So I can show how the dynamic glyph works when the user hovers on the screen on the parallel coordinates, especially on the dense areas. Yeah, so there's an I'm talking over the video. Probably it takes some time to start. So we user basically hover on the dense area and see how many positive and negative sloped edges are present at that area. So we basically look for edge and lens intersection. So we also pre-computed some of the edges to increase the speed of the glyph lenses. That's why we can look at smaller area on the PCP, and we can get a summary of the area with a dynamic glyph. And I would like to show you how we do. So we first of all select two different edges, and then we change the, of course, like the scale, maximum and minimum scale, to show the subtraction of these two data to see the difference between them. So this will help user to kind of understand the difference easier instead of seeing everything at one view. Yeah, for example, that's the overall result when we subtract age group 2 from the age group 6. So what it means, group 2 represents the people between 20 and 29, and group 6 is showing people aged between 60 and 69. So the difference between them is just gives us a summary of the difference for some certain dimension. For example, the difference is larger for hospitalization between two groups. So like it means that the people in group 6 are hospitalized more, and also the number of deaths are also bigger for this group. Yeah, this is, I think we covered everything. Oh, there's also dimension reduction. I forgot that. Oops. Okay, so sometimes it's hard to understand the correlation between two data dimensions, especially if there are if there are too many data attributes presented on parallel coordinates. So for that reason, we introduced a dimensionality reduction feature in this tool. So we will just kind of delete some of the not delete, but kind of collapse some of the data attributes to enable user to see the correlation between some of the important data in the parallel coordinates. So how we do that? We just look at the correlation glyph, and the correlation glyphs represent the presented at the bottom of the PhD, and then we are going to look at that, and if the correlation is close to 0 or 1, we can see that, like, user can see that this doesn't affect the data too much. That's why they can right click on the glyphs and collapse those two access pairs and see the main message given in the data better. So probably we couldn't see the main idea because I was skipping too much. I would like to show much better. For example, we do right click and say collapse the one who has correlation value is calculated as 1, because they show a direct correlation between axes, so it doesn't really show an interesting information given in the data. That's why collapsing those access pairs are helping user to see interesting part of the data. Yes, I think that's enough for the demo video at that case, because this covers the other parts. And some of the future work, I can talk about that as well. So our first aim, at least for the, like in general, the aim of this, I don't know, I'm just kind of confused at the moment. First of all, one of the future work is to increase visibility of the visualization literacy concept. And like, as we can see that there are not many research completed based on our survey. There are only 34 related literature on visualization literacy, and we can definitely increase the visibility of the visualization literacy concept. And we can also produce new visualization tools and tutorials to improve users' visualization literacy abilities. And we know that there are many standardized assessment tests for different courses like mathematics or literature. I don't know, there are too many different standardized assessment tests. And our one of the aim could be creating a standardized assessment test for visualization literacy. This could include varying complexity of visual designs and data sets for students with different backgrounds. And also, one of the future work is expanding the studies of visualization literacy for tree map and parallel coordinates plots. And of course, for increasing the efficiency of the visualization literacy test, we can use more data sets, different data sets, and conduct user studies with larger user groups. And also expanding the functionality of the software tools can be another future work for the researchers. Yeah, thank you. Yes. So I will stop sharing my screen. Oh, I don't know why I struggle to speak.
Welcome, Rich and Mohammed.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess I'll ask the first question then.
Yeah, please.
Why would you choose to study visualization literacy?
Yeah, so like everyone teaches in this discipline, everyone in data visualization topic teaches visualization, but they couldn't produce any efficient way for helping students to learn learn advanced visualization tools in a better way. They always use many of you still use static slides and show some 2D images to students to understand the concept and how it works. And visualization literacy is gaining momentum, of course, but still not very much popular area to work on. And we also see like too many visualization in our, like we are exposed to too many visual designs every day in our lives. Like we're seeing them on news, we're seeing them on websites, and like in even textbooks for K-12 students, they are seeing too many visual methods. So that's why improving users' visualization literacy skills are very important to understand the message which is given in the data. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay, I think I would avoid talking about the like the aspect of teaching. I think I would just focus on, you know, data gaining popularity as a useful or gaining importance. The use of data supported decisions is increasing in popularity.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't remember what to say. I just.
Yeah. And ways to communicate that data also are growing in importance. So like the use of data to make decisions or inform decisions is gaining importance, and then the use of visual aids to communicate that data is also gaining in popularity.
Yep.
Do you have any questions, Rich? Oh, you're muted. Either that or you're going to have to shout really loud.
Very quiet.
No, you're still muted, I think, Rich. I think I heard Mohammed at least.
Yeah, I think he has a problem with the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any
Sorry,
questions?
first of all, sorry, I forgot. I put it in my calendar through your WhatsApp, but they put it in a different clock.
Oh.
You were like, I think 1 hour difference. So sorry for that. I missed the first part of your presentation.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now we can
Yes.
hear you.
Hello, everyone, by the way. Hello, friends.
Oh.
Welcome back.
Hello, Rich.
Hello. Oh, nice to see you all. So yes, I have some questions. First, I think it's a really great research area. I think it's much needed at the moment. I've done some tree map dashboards for my boss, and he keeps calling them heat maps. They just don't have that background, and it's trying to explain things to people is really difficult. It's funny how spending years and years in visualization, you just get so used to it, and then trying to push that onto other people, it can be quite difficult. So, my question is: so obviously you focused on literacy. How have you evaluated these tools that you've created? You might have mentioned in the thing at the very beginning. I missed the start of it, and my headphones were cutting out. So yeah, you might have said.
So you're asking how we evaluate the effectiveness of the tools, right?
Yeah.
So yes, so we created those tools, but of course we needed to create some. We need to conduct user studies, and we recruited some students for both tree map and parallel coordinates studies. And like for the tree map study, we conducted a user study in a classroom. We recruited like students, and it also, I mentioned that we created a visualization literacy test for both tree map and parallel coordinates. So first of all, we have pre-test and post-test. We give pre-test first to evaluate their initial level of visualization literacy abilities. And then we give the tool half of the group, and half of the group also learn from the slides how tree map works, and the other group learn tree map, how using the software tool. And then we gave the tree map post-test tree map test, and then we compared the results, how they are improve, or how the software help them to improve their understanding and interpreting, of course, the tree map and the parallel coordinates, of course. Yeah, this is the way of how we can evaluate the effectiveness of the tool, and of course their performance gives us the clue on the effectiveness.
Nice. What were the results?
Yeah.
Was it how did it make much of a difference? What was the outcome in the end?
Yeah, that's obvious that like software tool just help them to improve their skills. Like comparing to pre-test, they showed some significant. It wasn't significant, but they show some improvements on the software group. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Oh, I don't think I can speak at the moment. I don't know.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
When is the Viva?
Tuesday, 17th.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, for the tree map user study, the difference between the two groups is not that big. Any hypothesis as to why that might be the case?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, we randomly, like we recruit participants, and when they arrive the classroom, we randomly allocated to them a software group and the slides group. And my hypothesis on this is maybe software group was a little bit smarter comparing to slides group, and that's probably affected the results. So that's why we couldn't obtain any significant results for the study.
How how large was the group? What was the sample size?
For the tree map study, that we hired 25 students.
Okay.
I think it was the other way around. It looks like the slides group started out to be smarter than the software group for the tree maps. That's why that's what I remember at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
It could be helpful to have a slide, like if you're presenting.
Yeah.
To present the slide with the outcome, because that's sort of like, well, I don't know. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah.
Was it worth having presenting the data in that way?
It might be for the questions that are difficult. It could be good to have a slide as a backup, just so you don't get too nervous. You know, I thought about that too. I have that in my notes. Like, if you think that you might struggle with like saying how you evaluated the software or how you did the evaluation, it could be useful to prepare a slide.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it could be useful, yeah, for the challenging questions.
Yeah, I remember some of the evaluate. I think I was part of one of them.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Yes, but I'm not sure what the type of like analysis or evaluation you did. Is it like quantitative or qualitative?
Yeah, we actually did both. So we compared the results, how they performed for both tests, and kind of see the difference between two group softwares and slides. We did a quantitative study first, and then we also collected some feedback at the end of the study from the students in terms of their experience during the user study and of course the software. And we did a qualitative study on this, and we see that students were really give us positive feedback on the software. They really enjoy to see how they really enjoy to see getting visual feedback when they hover on the screen, and also seeing the animation between tree structure and the tree map view. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I did the qualitative, I think one of the questions that I struggle with is how did you report the qualitative feedback?
Yes.
Because I mentioned that I followed some guidelines.
Yes.
But the guideline I did is just the first part, how to collect, how to ask, how to do this. But at the end, how do you do the analysis? Because there are some research about this.
Yeah,
and,
so there's a technical thematic analysis, and this is like very often used for analyzing text-based feedback. So we use thematic analysis and kind of sort it. Look at the students' feedback and try to classify it. And we saw a pattern actually, like they're kind of giving answer as parallel to our hypothesis at the beginning that we introduce as a barrier to tree map understanding tree maps, and we classify them, and also we have additional classification based on the software features like interactivity and animation. And we follow thematic analysis for the qualitative data analysis.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Nice. I think in mine, I was asked a lot about sort of that feedback. I had no quantitative analysis at all in mine, so it's good that you've got that to back it up. It's nice that you've got both. I think that'll be a really nice.
Yes,
definitely supporting. Yeah.
I really had to defend my lack of quantitative analysis.
Did we discuss that in your practice Viva at all?
I can't remember. I think I knew it was because we did sort of we got around the quantitative by saying it was expert feedback. I can't remember what we called it, but
your practice Viva gets a lot of views, by the way, Rich. It gets it gets like it's like in the thousands.
Gosh, don't like that.
anyways, the academic answer for that is that your software was specifically for a company instead of specialists.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not intended for general use, whereas Elif's is actually intended for general use, you know, a wider audience. So Mohammed, did you say you participated in Elif's user study?
Yes, I think I do remember I participating in one of the.
Okay, that's probably wasn't a good idea. Actually, we shouldn't have had Mohammed in there. Anyways, it's too late now.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure if I did or not.
I was looking for participants. Maybe I asked you, maybe you rejected because I don't remember. I don't have any memory that you were in the study. But
I think I participated at the beginning, where there are like many questions and stuff like this. Yeah, I have it like back of my mind that I did participate.
I would be surprised if I let you participate, Mohammed. I don't think I would have let you participate in her tree map user study, because that's not really, you know, you're already familiar with tree maps, so I don't know.
How did you source the participants? Were they computer scientists? Were they general students? What was the?
So yeah, we use computer science department mailing list, and we send them an email to invite the study, and they showed up. Like probably there are a couple of mathematicians as well, because they asked their friends and so on.
Okay.
Yeah, but mainly computer science students.
We should have excluded any visualization students, like any PhD or master's students in visualization.
Yeah. PhD is fine, but I don't remember really Mohammed was in the study.
I would be very surprised if I allowed Mohammed into that study, because I was doing the teaching, remember?
Yes, of course, yeah.
So
yeah. So you would not.
I remember I participated. Maybe it's in a pilot study or something.
Oh, probably.
Did you do pilot study?
Yes, I did. Yeah, probably yes.
Pilot study makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw in your list of publications some paper about diversity.
Yes.
Why is that in your thesis?
Yeah. So I'm not sure I should refer to your debt panel, but I will, because it's a good connection. So Bob received Bob attended that visual debt panel. I think, what is the name? Anyway.
It's on the scientific visualization.
Yes. So in that panel, panelists receive questions about diversity and inclusivity in visualization, and then based on this conversation, some of the researchers decided to write a book on diversity in visualization, and I was a part of this researchers. But however, they're kind of assigning 2 people for each chapter, and this paper was meant to be one of the this paper meant to be a book chapter, actually, with another co-author in that chapter. But when the other author resigned from this, I think the other author couldn't make it. That's why they had to cancel my book chapter. So we decided to publish this paper somewhere else, and we publish it in a journal. So we thought that I think that this is very much related topic for my thesis. So I decided to include as an appendix rather than including in the main thesis. I think I shouldn't talk that long. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there might be a better way to answer that.
Yeah.
How did we find out about that journal? Did I just got some random email or something?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll just leave that. Okay, and for the user study on PCPs,
Yes.
why do you think that the results weren't as strong as you hoped?
So our primary objective was designing a study for in a classroom-based environment, and we did our we prepare our tests, and also, like, because of lockdown, we had to change our design to a crowdsourced studies instead of a classroom-based studies. So that's why we show our video. We showed our software tool as a video tutorial. We created 2 tutorials. One is introduce parallel coordinates plot using slides, and the other is showing the parallel coordinates tool and the animation and interaction used in a video tutorial. So I believe that the video tutorial, like both of them, were pretty much longer. That's why it was very hard to keep the participants engaged with the video. So that's why I believe that we couldn't get too much difference between 2 groups, and we couldn't really measure the efficiency of the software tool as we expected.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, if you could go back and do the PhD over again, would you have done anything differently?
Am I going to work on visualization literacy again?
It's up to, well, I don't know. It's just a general question, like if you could start over, is there anything that you would have done differently?
Yeah, like, to be honest, I truly enjoy every moment during my research. So everything went well except the lockdown. I'm very happy with the I'm very happy with the topic selection, and also the designs, like tree maps and parallel coordinates. They are like very good selections, very good focus, very good methods to focus on for visualization literacy topic. And maybe I could do something different. Like maybe I could, I don't know. I would like to do a user study on the parallel coordinate study in a classroom environment, rather than recreating participants from a large pool, because the distance is affecting a lot. With distance affecting results a lot in terms of engaging with the tool and the test. So I could maybe do this different.
I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to ask that. That question does come up sometimes, just for fun. I mean, what I would have maybe, I don't know, like, we had this kind of hiccup in the beginning where we chose visualization for education, which was too broad, and then we had the meeting with Ben Schneiderman, and he said, "Oh, you should study visualization literacy," and that was kind of a big turning point.
Yes.
So that's something maybe we could have done differently, I suppose, but hindsight is 20/20.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
That would be possible to mention in the, like, if somebody asks you, why did you choose visualization literacy, that could also be part of the answer. Like, well, actually we chose education and visualization, but then we discovered it's too broad in scope.
Yes.
And then we had a meeting with Ben Schneiderman, and he thought this was an interesting topic too. Yeah.
Yes, it's a good point.
Okay, any other questions, Mohammed or Rich?
Mohammed is away.
So, I would like to. It would be nice to. I would like to have had a read through the thesis. I think I'll probably have more questions that way.
Yeah.
If you're happy to send them to me, I might have a look over it, and if I have any further questions that
Yeah, I'm happy to send, yeah.
I mean, it's actually good to ask those questions like, how did you evaluate it? You know, and how many participants there are, because the examiners do ask those questions. So it's, you know, it's good for Elif to have to recall what she did. You know, it's good practice.
I was legitimately surprised with mine so I made a bunch of videos. My reviewers or my external examiner didn't even watch the videos.
Oh, okay.
So Jonathan Roberts.
He didn't watch the videos.
No.
Did you have them you had them in your thesis?
In the thesis, they were linked. They were the file sent. Like he had them there. He admitted he had them there. He just said, I think my survey was a little too long for him to. I think he spent all the time on the survey and then lost motivation to actually watch the videos. Which is a shame.
Okay.
But you'll find that, that some of the questions, because he asked a bunch of questions that I thought, oh, well, that's been answered in the video, and at least I know the answer to it. It's an easy answer. So some of them, they'll try and catch you out, and actually it's just an easy answer. So.
That's right, and that messed me up a few times in job interviews. Like I had a job interview at University of Essex, I think it was, and they asked me a question twice, and I was like, really? And it messed me up. I was like, didn't I just answer that question? So these things can happen. Somebody might ask you a question that's clearly written and documented and everything, and but you might have to repeat it because they didn't get it or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I can make some comments on your presentation.
Yeah, sure.
I think it was a little bit long. It looks like it was about 20 to 25 minutes. Actually, yeah, you finished at 16:29. You can look at the recording of the.
Yeah, of course. It just felt like 10 minutes, something like that. I don't know.
On your papers, you have a slide called like papers published. Maybe the font is very small on that one.
Sure.
You might want to split it up into two slides. Like I would split that up into two slides. One is papers published as first author, and then something like supplementary published papers, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then make the font size bigger.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
And you have a slide with definitions on them.
Yes.
I would recommend putting some references there. You know, some citations. You know, where you got those. And the tree map, I think it would be good to just when you have the tree map video, just start playing it and then explain it as it's playing, because I think you paused it and did some explanation or something.
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
I think it would be good to just hit the play button and then explain it. Maybe your words are not perfectly synchronized with the actual video, but I think that's okay. They don't have to be perfectly synchronized.
Yeah, good idea.
And if somebody wants to see it again, like afterwards, I mean, the idea is just to give them, you know, the 2-minute introduction to that video, the first 2 minutes or something. And if they want to see the whole thing, they'll say, oh, can you bring up the tree map video again and let me ask a question about that?
Yeah.
Or I want to see that until the end, or I didn't understand this part. Like they can come back with a question later on and say, can you bring it up again so we can look at it more carefully, instead of trying your hardest to get it perfect and explain every little detail, you know. And okay, with the DPCP say that 10 times fast, chapter,
Yeah.
you could make a connection to, it says like YDC, DP,
DPCP.
You could make a connection with the previous chapter and say, we discovered that users struggle with this idea of correlation. Discovered that during our previous chapter. And it would also be kind of nice to make a connection with RampViz.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And say, we got this challenging data set from the RampViz project. And we wanted to try out our PCP software, so this was a natural next step in our research, you know.
Yeah, that's a good connection, explanation.
Also, with the DPCP video, you could again, you don't want to like stop it and start it and like play it in different places. You just want to hit the play button once, and you don't need to explain everything in the video.
Yeah, that's the thing. The video was a little bit slow though, like.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want, you can play that one at double speed, right? And then that might help.
Yeah, sure, I will do that.
But you know, you don't have to demonstrate all the features. You can say there are some more features like axis collapsing or dimensionality reduction and a subtraction operator that I won't demonstrate now due to time constraints. But if you guys want, we can come back to this during the question and answer period.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because they already read my thesis. They should know what they are. So there's no point to repeat, yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's really all I have in terms for comments. I mean, if you want, you could prepare a slide, an extra slide that you don't present at all, but like if somebody asks for more details about the evaluation, then you could have a slide ready if you want.
Yes.
Like, oh, I do have another question actually. Why was evaluation a theme in your literature review?
I'm sorry, I didn't get it, the question. What is the evaluation?
Why was evaluation a theme in your literature review chapter?
Yeah, because the primary objective is to improve the visualization literacy, and this is the only way how we can understand our contributions are actually working. Like, we have to do user studies to evaluate that they are efficient enough. This is just kind of confirmation, way of confirmation of that they are working.
Okay, that's fine. I would also mention that the evaluation is very challenging. You know, it's one of the major challenges with visualization literacy in general. And we wanted to really investigate how everybody else was doing their evaluation for their visualization literacy papers.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So you were kind of referring to the survey, that because we focus on classification evaluation in the survey, or I thought that you were referring to 3 million parallel corpus.
No, in the survey.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good answer for that, yeah.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Rich and Mohammed? I'll stop recording, but I would like to ask Rich and Mohammed a few questions, actually.
Sure. It's the Viva time for you.
Okay, how do I do this? Would you like to ask another question, Rich?
No, I don't think I have any more. I'm trying to think of something. I'd quite like to have a read of the thesis if that was possible, and maybe I can email some that I could think of between now and Tuesday. But for now, well done. I think you did a great job.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
Richard.
yes. I think overall you're well prepared. You know, overall, yeah.
Thank you.
I hope that you can have a chance also to look at Richard's practice Viva and Mohammed's practice Viva.
Yes, yeah. I already saw 2 questions today. Why I work on Pearson's correlation coefficient. This is one of the backup slides for Liam. And what are glyphs? Like,
oh, did
glyph?
we ask that? What are glyphs?
Yes, yes.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question actually. And the there is no black and white definition of glyph.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we talk about that in his Viva, his practice Viva.
Yeah, so he has a definition, like it's an individual visual designed to depict the data attribute, something like that, as far as I remember.
Yeah. That's a good question, actually. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe we can talk about. Anyway, I think I'm fine. I'm totally fine.
Okay. So, Rich, can you give us an update? Did you stop